Alright, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. I had an okay night's sleep. I still had to get up a bit more often than I thought. The logs didn't really produce much of a flame. They did keep embers going forever, but they didn't produce the flame like I wanted, so I had to keep throwing little inch or so sized pieces back on there. Overall, I think it went pretty well. Penny here, she had a really hard time. She was pretty scared of just about any noise that happened, and especially because there's like chipmunks and stuff, and there's a lot of birds making noises just in the middle of the night, which I hadn't heard very much, just these types of calls and stuff from them. I don't know why they were up so late, but they were doing it. It was the moon was out. It was about 3/4 full, so it was still pretty bright night. You could still see around pretty good. What else? Penny was determined to try to get inside of my sleeping bag. I don't think she was cold. I think she was just trying to get up next to me because I kind of wrapped up around her a bit, thinking she was cold. She was shivering a bit, but she never stopped shivering. She just kept shivering a little bit. And eventually she decided she wanted to be my pillow, and that worked pretty good. So I just used her as a pillow for a while, and that kept her, I think, a little bit more warm, and she seemed to enjoy that. Let me put on my glasses. Today I'm going to pick up camp. I don't think I'm going to cook anything right now. I just put the fire up to warm myself up a bit. Yes. I'm going to probably hide my stuff and go down and look for a nice fishing spot. I'm not exactly sure where one is, so that's going to take some fiddling around and looking around to try to find a decent fishing spot. We'll see if we can find some fish. Alright, I've got most of my things packed back up in my main bag. I've got this really small, compactable, gets about this big bag that I use just for a little day trip like this. I've just got some first aid, some water, camera stuff, and some fire starting, and I'll put this tarp in here as well. But that's going to be about it. I'm just going to take apart my shelter here, and I wanted to show these knots. I love the knots that you can just take down really quickly and just not have to mess with. You know, if I do a knot that's too tight or something, I'll tend to use my Leatherman or something to pull it apart, but these should come apart really easily with pretty much no effort. So these logs here, some of them are actually feeling pretty dry, but I tried to pick up the extra wet ones that I wasn't going to use in the fire, but some of them were feeling pretty decent. I didn't really need them last night. So they've each got a little loop. Probably doesn't show up super well on camera. Let me do it on this side. Good job, dog. Each one has a little loop like this, and then a little tail coming out the end. All you got to do is just yank on the little tail, and then the knot comes undone. Then you can pull the other side of it, and just unwrap it. There you go. This is one of my 12-foot hanks. Have to re-wrap it up in a bit. Same thing with the other side, nice and simple. This one was a bit tighter, but it still wasn't a big deal. I really like the ones that are easy to put up and easy to take down. When I was younger, I would just do granny knot or sheepspen after sheepspen after sheepspen, and that just makes it really difficult to get it undone, but this makes it pretty easy. Just want to show you guys that real quick. I'm going to stash my bag. Dog. Stash my bag real quick, and then I'll head down and search for some fish. Alright, so we got to put up this fire more. I dumped some of Penny's water on there. She wasn't drinking it anymore, so dumped some of that on there. We've got that snow that I used to melt and get some water. So I'm just going to bundle that up in my handkerchief and dump it on here and stir this around until it's good and even. And then I'll probably destroy this a bit more or something so you can't really tell what was going on here, just for leave no trace and things like that. Alright, this used to be a little bit bigger. You can see a couple of places where I pulled some snow out and it melted a bit more because of that. So I'm just going to scoop some more up on this handkerchief. It's frozen on the top from overnight, but the inside's nice and soft. One skill that I had to learn was how to actually put out a fire pretty well. Boy Scouts actually worked pretty well at that. They gave me quite a few tips on how to really make sure a fire is out. Make sure you're not going to damage anything. Right now we're in a mild fire threat here, so I'm not really worried about my fire doing anything in its current state. I did have to fight it one time last night. It was dying pretty bad. I had to stay up for about 5 minutes working on it, but got it back together. Some of the let me pick up the camera here. Some of the logs worked really well to maintain the fire, but I didn't really have as much kindling as I should have had to really keep it going. So that's one thing that I struggled with a little bit, but the big logs really kept the embers well. Gonna dump some of the snow on here, all along it, and then I'm gonna mix it up with a stick. That looks good. So I did dig up a little bit last night, or yesterday, to build this fire. So I'm going to need to make sure to dig down a little bit to get to those ashes that might be underneath. Yeah. No. Looks like I'm going to need to do quite a few more trips with this snow to really get this out. It really soaked up some of the snow. There's just a ton of ashes because I burned, probably like 100 pounds of wood or something like that. My parents need to teach this dog not to get so much attention grabbing. Alright, there we go. I got a couple more bundles full of ice or snow and mixed it in with there. It's not making any more noise. I don't see any more steam coming out. I really stirred down deep into there, as deep as I dug, and stirred it all up, and it seems to be done pretty good. So I'm gonna smash some of this stuff and hide my bag, and let's go do some fishing. All right, got my day pack put together here. Sorry, I got this guy causing a ruckus. Got my day pack put together, some water, got a knife, ferro rod, my tarp, fishing stuff, and a first aid kit, and a couple of camera things. We're gonna head down. Let me give you guys a shot. We're gonna head down this way. Hopefully at the bottom of there, I'll be able to find a stream or something like that. I do know there's one down here. There might be one the next mountain over, and I'm not gonna go that far, but I'm gonna go check it out at least. Do some scouting around, learn a little bit more about this area. Just wanted to share this gorgeous meadow that I'm in. It's pretty cleared out of trees. All these, we've got some big aspens and stuff that fell over, but it's just gorgeous around here. Move the camera off so you guys can see this. Sun's rising over here. Yep. Beautiful. Head down that way. Keep looking for that river. Or stream, really. It's not much of a river. Getting closer to the bottom. Still just these pretty open meadows with these aspens without their leaves. Leaves a lot of light to come down. It's really pretty. Kind of surprised. It's spring here, so all these things are coming up pretty new. Looks like down here they're a bit bigger than they were up top where I was. Or up top where I was, they're about this big. These ones, not that big. Just those subtle changes in elevation. I mean, probably only like 100, 200 feet of elevation. Not that much. Makes a big difference. Penny over here knows where we're going. She's just realized we're just going down, and she's just heading straight down, running all over the place. She's chased after a couple of squirrels or something. Chipmunks. I didn't quite see what it was, but I saw some motion. She went after it, but it wasn't successful, unfortunately. I'm sure she would have loved that. We're getting really close to the bottom here. Should be down there in less than 5 minutes. And should have to look around. If there's no stream down here, I'll probably head back, head on home. But if there's a stream, I'm going to definitely do me some fishing. Really been excited to try out this fishing kit. I figure I'll look under some logs or rocks for some worms, use those. I've been fishing up in the mountains like this before with my brother when we were hunting, and he brought a fishing pole, but he forgot to bring a hook. So we used his brother-in-law's safety pin, and we took a safety pin, unraveled it a little bit, hooked it onto the string, and chucked it in there, and they loved it. They would bite within seconds. I'm not joking, within seconds. And he would yank up because he didn't have a proper hook, so there was no barb on there, so the fish could come right off. So he just yank, and the fish would come right off, fly up into the air, and me and his brother-in-law would just chase after him, grab him, put him in there. We got about 20 of them or so. He brought some lemon pepper, and we just grilled them on a piece of tin foil with some lemon pepper. It was really good after hunting for hours. I definitely do a lot of hunting, but I'm not very good at it. Don't really get much, but that's not really the point. I want to get better at it, so I keep going anyways. Stuff like this. I'm not the best at it, but I keep going because I want to get better at it. Penny was all the way over the top. Ooh, we got a tiny little creek here. I doubt there's any fish. Might be hard to fish with Penny running all over the place. This spot looks way too thin for any fish. That's pretty tiny. Be the tiniest of fish if they're in here, so I'm just gonna keep going down to the bottom. Look for where this joins the next bigger river. All right, got down to the bottom area here. It looks like 2 streams join up, so that's pretty good for me. I'm gonna go in a little bit slow, check them out, make sure I don't scare away any fish. If there are fish in there, then I'm gonna grab some worms, do some fishing. Let me give you guys a shot of the area over here. Springtime with all this green is just gorgeous. It'd be even better if the aspens were green, but I see some with some buds on them for leaves, but I don't see any leaves yet. The trail I'm walking on right now is a sheep's trail. Probably saw some on the hill on the other side. Over there. Those are sheep. They run everywhere over here. Penny is just sprinting everywhere. She was drinking some of that stream water, wading through it. She loved it. Quite jealous of her ability to drink that and not get horribly sick. I might be able to, but it's always a risk, and I'm not willing to take it. Oh yeah, this sounds much bigger now that I'm listening to it. I don't know if it'll show up on camera. Much bigger. Cool. Yeah. I've been on the other side, way down that way. over on the stream area. I think it might just be a little bit louder because there's a couple of them that are doing waterfalls. I don't know how big it actually is. There's a little pond over here. I'm gonna check that out. Looks like a great spot for fish. Yeah, looking gorgeous. This looks like kind of like Ireland or something, just with all the green everywhere. The lumpy hills like this over here. All these lumps. But, and there's like mountains with aspen, so not quite. Alright, check out the stream here. This looks great. Let's flip this camera around. I think I'm going to try out this spot. This corner over here looks pretty good. Alright, got one worm. Those guys are fast. Pull that rock up, they're gone. Barely got this guy. Alright. I'm going to cut this guy in half and use half a piece. Start. Need to not let him escape. Get my stuff threaded up. I don't think I'm going to bother with a bobber. It's so shallow. Watching that worm, making sure he doesn't go away. He's trying. Alright. Got that. Probably need a sinker and button. Let's try without. Let's try without. I'm not an expert fisherman by any means. And I've never tried fishing with a kit like this, so I'm pretty excited to give it a shot. Got my hooks out. Alright, now I need to peel this back, find my end. So this is some high quality braided, like 20-30 pound test fishing line here. Hoping to go with something a little bit nicer. Throw my Bugout bag, so that's what I got. Couple of loops on there. Get this out nice and tight. Oh, there we go. That braided catches interestingly. A little half hitch just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. There you go. A bit of string there. Mr. Wormy here made some progress. It didn't quite make it anywhere. Slice it in half. Let's see how worms work. I know fish are kind of partial to specific things at certain times of the year. Come on, hold still. But I don't really see any large enough bugs that I can catch. Gotta hide this hook. I'm gonna set this up a bit better. Thread the other end on it again. So this guy just spools onto here, like so. And I'm gonna go give it a shot. I'm really excited. Been waiting months to try this out. Ordered this during the winter, so. So this current is just so fast, I think I really do need a sinker. So I'm gonna pull a sinker out. Use one of them. This kit does come with sinkers and some hooks. Just not quite the smaller hooks that I wanted. Not really seen any fish. Could be that they don't come up this high. Worm's still there. We'll try this corner over here. This corner looks like a pretty decent spot. I think I'm going to come at it from the top. My shadow doesn't show up. Well, I'm not really getting anything in this spot. It might be too small. Might be the wrong type of season or something like that. I'm not the best fisherman, but this seems to be working pretty good though. I can control it pretty easily and get stuff where I want it to go. So I'm gonna go a little bit further downstream and see if I can find something else. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna walk around slowly and look for fish instead of just trying a spot. They've got quite a lot of places to hide with all of this tall grass right up against the river, so that'll make it difficult to find them. But I'm just gonna stare at some of these spots and see if I can find some more fish. Some fish. You know what? Even if I don't manage to get any fish, looks like Penny's just having a great time. She's way over there. Quarter of a mile or something over there. Looks like she's heading up in those aspens. I better call her back because I can't see her around over there. Penny! Penny! Here she comes. Oop. So let me get the camera back on her. She's a little distracted apparently. Penny! Penny! There we go. That's better. She was way over there. That's a great dog. Coming back, perfect. See where she runs up. Somewhere over here. There she is. Hey girl! Hey you! Oh, there you go. There you go, huh, Penny? Alright. This spot's got some pretty good rapids. I don't really see any fish in there, but I still want to give it a shot. It honestly looks like a place where a fish could hide really easily. And I have my shadow pointing the other direction so that I don't startle them or anything like that. So I'm gonna point my camera over here and give it a shot. Well, nothing at this spot. Not sure why there's no fish in there. Maybe they just don't really want worms or something like that. I'm gonna keep looking down, see if I can find something else. Alright, well, I think this stream might be a bit too small and maybe a bit too fast for any fish to really want to be here. Really surprised by that. I better get heading on home. I'm going to walk back to my bag, pick up my bag, repack it a little bit, get back to the car. I really had a lot of fun today and yesterday, and I'm really glad that I came out here, especially with Penny over there, who's just having a grand time. Yeah, that was a good idea that I brought her. I don't think she's ever been outside the city before. I'll have to ask my parents if they've ever taken her outside the city. She's just loving it out here. Well, thanks for watching, guys. This has been Roland from Learning Self-Reliance, and I hope you guys had an interesting time watching me experiment, especially with fishing, and learn a couple of new things. Definitely some things I can improve on, skills I need to learn, probably a few less things I can bring in my pack, just getting more confidence under my belt. Thanks for watching. Alright, after my trip I learned quite a few lessons. One of them is that I really need to practice my shelter making, and another one is that I wanted to try to remove some weight from my pack if I could. So here I've got some things that I'm going to be removing from my pack. I am removing my tomahawk. I'm not very happy about doing this, but I do find that I don't really use it as much as its weight is. With the large knife that I have and with the bow saw, I can really tackle a lot of wood that this would be used for. This is really only useful for steaks or taking larger pieces of wood than the knife can. But I think with the combination of my knife and my bow saw that I can remove this from my pack. So I'm going to remove it. I can always add it again later if I need it. I'm going to be removing my shooting sticks. I kind of left those in there just because I use my bag for hunting, and it was just kind of a convenient place to keep them, and maybe if I needed them I would have them and that would be nice, but I still want to remove these anyways, especially if I'm going to be using a shotgun or something like that. Really, you're not going to need shooting sticks for that kind of close-up shooting that you would be with a shotgun. I'm also removing the sheath for my bow saw. My bow saw is of course staying in the pack, but the sheath is going to be removed. One of the only problems with this is that it houses a few spare blades for my bow saw. So on the back here there's a little flap, and it houses and keeps safe the couple of spare blades. So here is the aggressive cut blade that the Agawa Canyon makes, and here is a standard Greenwood blade. I will be losing these, but I'll be keeping the drywood bow saw blade. And that one seems to be easy enough to sharpen with my Leatherman, and it seems to tackle the type of wood that I want, because I cut down dead wood because I'm going to be making a fire. So this is, you know, probably like half a pound or so. This is probably a good, excuse me, probably a good 2 pounds, pound and a half. This is probably only about half a pound too. There's a couple of things I'm going to be adding. Oh, and I wanted to remove some extra cables. These are modifying cables for my radio that I won't be able to use without a computer. So I'm going to keep these with the computer instead of bringing them in my bag because they're not necessary. I will be keeping the cloning cable though, because that is very useful, very minimal weight for the ease of coordination between groups and things like that it offers. I will be adding a couple of things to my kit. One is, on my brother's suggestion, is a couple of spinners for my fishing kit. So here's just some simple spinners. I just got 2 of them, nothing huge, just to in case I can't get bait for some reason, or maybe this is what the fish want. So this is going to add a couple of options for just, you know, another 2 grams of weight. Then I wanted to have a little bit more variety in the food that I have and smaller meals. I do have the larger meals, but the problem with those is that you really have to sit down, do a lot of work for them, and to get them prepared. But in the middle of the day and while you're hiking, it's nice to have a little bit of a break and have some jerky. So I've got some jerky and cheese and things like that. I really like these Jack Link's jerky kind, so I've just got some of their original and some of their teriyaki and some beef and cheese. Then I've also got a couple of Gatorade packets for the electrolytes and things that it has in these to help me when I'm hiking and working hard. So, and also just to add a little bit of enjoyment out of water. Instead of drinking just water, I'll have some Gatorade. So I will be adding these things to my pack, and these definitely do not add up to even, you know, the hatchet or the tomahawk here. So these will be a couple of things that I'm adding to my pack for to make it more enjoyable and to make it a little bit more robust. I am looking into the solar panel being unable to charge the ham radio. One of the problems with that is if my large battery breaks for some reason, I won't be able to charge my ham radio anymore, and that's just unacceptable. So I'm looking at getting a voltage converter so that I can equalize that volt output by the solar panel, because it says it's a 12 volt, but if you actually look at the voltage, it goes between 15 and 19 volts. So that's a huge span that not every device is able to convert into the power it needs. It's just luck that the battery backup actually uses that voltage correctly. So I'm looking into bringing a voltage converter so that I can change it from the 15 to 19 volts to exactly 12 volts so that the ham radio can be charged properly. That will add probably another ½ ounce or so to my kit, which is frustrating, but with a variable voltage conversion like that, I would be able to charge many other devices, switching between the one I'm looking at has, I think it's 3 to 30 volts. So depending on what it is, I could bump it up to 24 volts, 12 volts, 9 volts, 5 volts, any other voltage in between. So that does add some weight, a very small amount of weight, but it does add a lot of robustness to my bag. So this is just a quick little clip I wanted to make talking about some of the changes that I've made after this trip, some things that I've learned, and changes I'm going to be making to my bag.